Locknick.
Austrian, sorry about that. Present.
Town Attorney Craig.
Present.
Okay, first order of business tonight is the motion to accept the August 16th, 2017 minutes as presented. May I have that motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Benny.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Any questions? Councilman Ostrander?
Yes.
Kerr?
Yes.
Blaisdell?
Yes.
Locknick.
Yes.
Supervisor Luza?
Yes. Okay, before we get on to the rest of the agenda, what I'm going to do is just give you a quick budget update. What we're doing, and I consulted with the state comptroller's office and exactly what we should be doing here as far as procedural wise and everything else. And EFPR did send a report in to us last week. However, there was some issues that I had with that. There was a couple of things that they did not address. I sent it back to them. I should be getting it back sometime in the middle of next week. So we're going to be starting the budget process probably late next week. What we're going to be doing is, as you can see on your agenda, we have a special meeting called for the 26th. We have to have our budget in place. What I have to do is Mr. Mevick, as the town clerk, has to give it to the town board by September 30th, and that way then it will be presented to the state. So what we'll be doing is, as you can see, we'll be setting a special meeting on the 26th. Now this 26th meeting will take the place of the September 20th meeting. So that way we're not going to have two of them. We're going to have that September 26th meeting is on Tuesday, and it's at 6:30 p.m. And our first budget workshop will be the first meeting in October, which will be October 4th. Should be our that'll be our first board meeting, and that will be a budget workshop meeting. And then we'll go from there, and then we'll proceed from there. So that is where we are with the budget. Okay, so next order of business. Dear Supervisor Luza, closed for your review and execution, please find 3 youth development program agreements for each of the following programs. Boston Area Recreation Commission BARC and the Town of Milton Recreation Program. If acceptable, please sign and date the last page of each agreement. Then return all 3 copies of each agreement to our office and with the required insurance documentation as outlined in paragraphs 12 through 17. Please note the following. The minimum general liability coverage are listed in paragraph 12 of the agreement. An additional insured endorsement rider listing the County of Saratoga, 40 McMaster Street, Boston Spa, New York 12020, or other proof of additional insured acceptable to the county is required, together with proof of premiums paid. And lastly, proof of workers' compensation insurance must be provided as stated in paragraph 17. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact our office. Thank you for your cooperation and attention to this matter. Sincerely, Wes Carr, Director. So with that, I'd like to have a motion authorizing the supervisor to sign agreements with the Saratoga County Youth Bureau for the following programs: Town of Milton Recreation Program and the Boston Area Recreation Commission. May I have that motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Councilman Ostrander?
Yes.
Kerr?
Yes.
Blaisdell?
Yes.
Locknick.
Yes.
Supervisor Luza?
Yes. Okay. Moving on. Second, what I just spoke about was about the special meeting. So I'd like to have a motion to set a special meeting Tuesday, September 26, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. for the presentation to the town board of the 2018 Town of Milton budget. This will take the place of, like I said, the September 20th meeting. May I have that motion, please?
Make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, can I ask what was missing, Dan, from the report that was holding this up, this audit up?
There was just a couple questions, Barb, that weren't answered to my liking, and I wanted to make sure that everything was addressed. I'm not going to speak about it in this setting.
Okay.
Any further questions? Councilman Ostrander?
Yes.
Kerr?
Yes.
Blaisdell,
Yes.
Malonic,
Yes.
Supervisor Loser.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Next, to the board of the town of Milton. The League of Women Voters would like to hold a candidate forum in October for all candidates who will appear on the ballot in the town of Milton in the November election. We would like to use the community center for the event, and we request that you waive the fee for the use of the building. We understand that even if you waive the fee, we still must pay $50 booking fee, and you give a $100 refundable deposit. The League of Women Voters is a nonprofit organization that never supports candidates or political parties. We are planning this forum as a public service to the voters in the town of Milton. Thank you for considering this request. Charlotte Druschel, Voters Service Co-Chair. So with that, may I have a motion to waive the fee for the community center on October 17th, 2017 for the League of Women Voters? May I have that motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Councilman Ostrander,
Yes.
Kerr,
Yes.
Blaisdell,
Yes.
Malonic,
Yes.
Supervisor Loser.
Yes. Okay, at this point in time, there is no correspondence. The next order is public comment. Public comment will be a 3-minute period for people. I ask people to please be respectful of others. I really do not want to have what took place here 2 weeks ago. Let's try to keep the political talk to a minimal place, and let's try to keep focused on town issues. If you have a town issue question, we'll be more than happy to entertain it. It's now open. Dorothy.
My name is Dorothy Christensen at 126 Hutchins Road. Since you're canceling the September 20th meeting, and that was a 45-day period for the Samuscott Development Company to come back to the town with answers about the water, and instead you're having the September 26th meeting, is there going to be any business at the September 26th meeting other than the budget?
Yes, it will be, ma'am. What we're gonna do is, we wanna make sure that we are, that what I wanna do, because it is replacing it, is to make sure that we'll take up town business at that point in time.
That's unfortunate. Okay, so he's probably going to come back for a vote on the 26th.
I have not heard from Mr. Samuscott, so I couldn't answer that question for you, Dorothy.
Well, his 45 days will be up by that time, and I'm hoping that the board does not give him another extension. The other thing I want to say is, and I know you said not to talk about politics, but the town of Milton has been in the middle of a really nasty and contentious political time, with accusations, innuendos, and numerous negative comments coming at us from many directions. I remember the good old days, about 10 years ago, when folks like Bud Blodgett, Ron Lacey, and Joe Miranda served on the board, and board members and community members got together to work on ad hoc committees to address issues for the betterment of the town. It was a far better time than what it seems to be now. It makes me ill listening to the sniping that goes on in the town board meetings and in the media. And now, in addition to the budget issue, town hall building issue, and ethics issue, it appears that the 91 Hutchins Road Senior Housing Plan Development District application has become yet another political football in this year's election. When it comes time for the vote on 91 Hutchins Road, think about the long-term residents and the newer residents who came to live in this town, and these two neighborhoods which will be affected by an 83 apartment unit development in the middle of them. If you have a chance, board members, please visit the junction of Hutchins Road and Gray Birch Trail at 5 o'clock on a weekday, on a work day, and get the feel of the current level of traffic at that time. Visit Market Drive at any time of the day and visualize how it will change with 83 unit apartment development road using this quiet cul-de-sac neighborhood for entering and exiting the development. I hope that all of you, our town supervisor, councilman, and councilwoman, in other words, our duly elected town board members we've chosen to protect the current residents of this neighborhood, well, a lot of them are my relatives, will have read all the files, petitions, and letters related to the 91 Hutchins Road project.
1 minute, Dorothy.
And will clear your minds of politics when it comes time for you to vote on this project. I thank you for your consideration.
Dorothy, I just want to make sure one thing is clear before you sit down. I mean, I said this once and I will say it again. that the Hutchins Road project is not a political football. I don't know why you keep saying that. I mean,
Because I see it in the paper.
Well, I mean, everything that you see in the paper is not true.
I know.
So, I mean, I can't help that Mr. Sam Scott asked for an extension. We asked him for it, or he asked us for it, and we
I realize
granted
that.
it, so.
I realize
I
that,
mean,
but I
that's-
also want everybody to be aware that.
Unfortunately, it's the time of year, but
Yeah, it
it
is.
coincides with each other, but I mean, I'm just saying to you, one has
Yeah,
nothing
now
to
the
do with
budget
each other.
project is gonna, or the budget process is gonna be on a day when I happen to have tickets to go to Pennsylvania, but that's the way it goes, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
I'm just concerned that the board members don't let politics get in the way of their decision on this process.
Okay.
And I do look forward to a time when the board can function more like it used to function in the old days. Then it was more fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dorothy. Anyone else? Jim Stalters, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor Ford. At our last meeting, I asked you about the flaws in our budget. You said you were gonna have some of those corrections made by Friday. Here we are into another month, and I have not seen anything about the corrections in the budget as it stands. This has been a three-year budget that's been in error somewhere. I think the voters of Milton deserve to know the answer there without being put off. Also, you know, you talk about cooperation between the board and the supervisor. A board member just asked you a question about the budget, what you didn't like, you cut it right off. This is what we had to contend with here. This is not good, this is not the way our town should run, and I, for one, are sick of it.
Jim, the reason why I didn't want to
Don't
answer.
cut me off, because somebody will get up and say I used my 3 minutes too long. So, this
Okay,
time
I'll wait
is
till you're
mine.
on. That's fair. I'm sorry.
Alright?
Yep.
So, I'm making a stand, and I hope a lot of the other people here in the room, as long as the board members, will stand with me and say, this is enough. We've had enough of this baloney, enough of the backbiting, enough of the backstabbing, and let's get our town where we're supposed to be. You know, I'm sick of our town being a laughing stock. I've been in this town a long time. I put a lot of effort in this town. I put a lot of time in this town. And I've supported my community. I have supported this town many times. So I am just one, and I'm just asking everybody in this town to stand up and say, look, we're done with this crap. We want a better town. We want good leadership, and we want people who's gonna lead us. And we got so many good things going on. Let us not destroy it now. Let us move on with good leadership and make our town proud. Thank you.
All right, well, let me address a couple of your things. Number one, the reason why I did not want to address a question from a certain council member today is just because I think if anybody has come to these meetings before, Mr. Stalters, every time I say any little thing about any type of figures, all of a sudden I'm painted into a corner. I refuse to do that at this point. What I want to do is make sure that I have solid numbers and everything is set in stone, so that way when I can offer it to the people, that's what we will have. And I don't understand why that's fair. I mean, after all the things that we've been through here with the budget, and I'm sorry that you're upset with my leadership, but I mean, yeah, have I made a lot of